Sup YouTube family, it's your boy King Aim. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys the supply and demand secrets, how you guys can use it and how you guys can identify your supply and demand zones. So if this is your first time on my channel, all I ask is that you like this video if you find value in it, smash the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you guys won't miss any of my future videos. Now without further ado, let's roll out the intro. I'm going to be showing you guys excuse me, I'm going to be showing you guys a few some examples today, looking at Euro GBP, and we're going to be looking at this on the 1 hour time frame. So when it comes to your supply and demand, what you guys actually need to focus on, you only need to focus on where you see rejections. That's all you need to focus on. You can call it rejections or where you see the taps. So that's actually what you guys need to focus on when it comes to your supply and demand. And you also need to know that your supply and demand can also act as support and resistance zones. And you also need to know that your supply is always going to be at the top and your demand is going to be at the bottom. So you have your supply at the top and then you have your demand right at the bottom. So supply at the top, demand at the bottom. So now I'm going to show you guys how you guys can actually identify your supply, and you guys are going to see that when you have those zones on your chart, you're going to see that price, most of the time, price is always going to come back, is either going to tap your supply or your demand zone, or is going to actually get to your supply or demand zone and start ranging before it eventually breaks it either to the downside or either to the upside. So right here, looking at this chart, Euro GBP, and we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame. Now when it comes to we're going to look for our supply zone looking at this chart. Now what can you guys see here, because we just need to focus on rejections, and when you're drawing your zone, you have to make sure that you draw your zones week to week. The reason why I say week to week, I mean this is how I like to draw my zone. I usually draw them from week to week, because when you draw it from week to week, it simply means that at one point in time, price actually go to that zone, meaning your week, price actually go to that zone at one point in time before it actually closed below it. So right here, I can see that we have a supply zone right here, looking at this to the left hand side, and we're just gonna drag it all the way to the right hand side here, and I'm just gonna move it right here to the top, because we have to draw it from week to week, like I told you guys. You guys can see that right over here. So we have a supply zone right there. So we have a supply zone right here to the left hand side, and as you can see over here, look at what price did. Price broke it and then came back, retested our supply zone and started ranging, now making this side over here, now making this a demand zone right here. Now since we have this breakout here, now with this breakout, because price actually started ranging, now we can say now we absolutely have another zone right here, and we're going to do it from week to week. So we have another zone right there as well. Now once we have the breakout, price broke this previous supply zone here and then pulled back to the previous supply zone, making this a demand zone now, and then price started ranging. Now we got the breakout again. Now price started ranging again over here, and now we got another zone right here. Now it might, sometimes it's not going to, when you draw your zone, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but you would understand that price actually got to this zone. Now looking at this, we have this zone here. Now this makes this also a supply zone here. Now when we look at this, when you have your supply zone drawn out already, now when you have your supply zone, how do you actually go by entering, getting into a trade? Because if we look at this, let me delete this right here. So if we look at this, now we have this supply zone here. Now how do we get in this trade now that we have a breakout? Now what do we do? Now what we need to do is, obviously we got to wait for a retest. Now we have that retest right over here. Price came back, pushed to the upside, but when you see this, that price is actually ranging, you stay out of that trade. There's no need for you to get in that trade, except if price eventually breaks this zone right here that we had drawn earlier, then you can actually get in that trade. But what did price do? Price did the same thing again. Price broke out, because you always have to wait for a retest. Now you have that retest. What did price do? Price started ranging again, making this another supply zone right here. So now this example right here, we do not have any trade here. There is no way we could have get into this trade. At least I definitely wouldn't have got in this trade, because like I told you guys earlier, we had a breakout of our supply zone. Price broke it, started ranging. We have another supply zone. Price broke it. We had a retest, but price started ranging again, because every time price broke the previous high, then it started ranging. We had a previous high here, then price broke our previous high, then it started ranging. It broke our previous high again, pulled back, and then price started ranging. So we had no trade at all right here, looking at this here. Now when it comes to your demand zone, now because we have a supply zone already, now your supply zone is always going to turn to your demand zone. Now that we have this supply zone here, now we can see right here price came back, making this a demand zone right here. So price started ranging in between our supply zone and our demand zone. Finally we had a break below our demand zone right over here, but because we had another previous supply zone here, we have to wait, because on this side this side became our demand zone. So we have to wait to see what price is going to do, if we're going to have a break below our previous supply zone, turning this into a demand zone. Now, and as you can see, we have that breakout here. Now once you have the breakout, you wait for a retest. Then after the retest, you can actually get in that trade. And looking at this, for me, I definitely would have got in this trade right over here. I would have got in this trade right here at this candle right over here. This would have been my entry right there. Now looking at this, now that I have my entry, now what do I need to do for me to be able to get my take profit target? Now what do I have to do? I have to look for my demand zone. And how you identify your demand zone is you have to look for that multiple touches. Where did price reject? Where did we have the rejection? Now looking at this, I can see that we have a zone here. Now we got to do this from week to week as well. Now we have that over here. We have it for week to week. Now right here we have a a supply zone over here that became a demand zone right here to the right hand side. We have a supply zone here to the left hand side that became a demand zone right here to the right hand side. We can see we have the touches here, we got the touches here. So that's what you're actually looking for. You just have to focus on the rejections where you have the multiple touches either for your supply zone or for your demand zone. So now this is another supply zone here, but over here it became a demand zone. Now that we have our entry right over here at this bearish candle right over here, because we waited for the retest and we got our entry. Now we definitely know now that okay, our take profit zone has to be this next supply zone here, because here over here is going to become our demand zone, because price is always going to come back and do the same thing. So whatever happens on the left hand side is definitely going to happen on the right hand side. That's why I always say when it comes to Forex, we actually trading from zones to zones, and this is how you'll be able to trade from zones to zones when you have your supply and demand zones on your chart. So we have a supply zone here, and over here it became a demand zone. We got our entry and we have our take profit here, and we got our take profit smashed. Now for your stop loss, you can just have your stop loss right over here above your previous supply zone that became a demand zone here to the right hand side, and that's going to be for 23 pips, and you got your take profit for 38 pips right there. Your risk to reward ratio 1 to 6. Now if we take a look over here, when it comes to demand zones, let me delete this. So when it comes to demand zones, now remember what I told you guys earlier, your supply zone is always at the top and your demand zone is always at the bottom. So now over here to the left hand side, I can clearly see that we have the rejections right over here, multiple touches. We just got to do it from week to week, like I told you guys, because at one point in time, price actually got to that level before price actually rejected that zone and closed above it or closed below it. So now we know this is our demand zone right over here. This is your demand zone because we had touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here, touch. So we had multiple touches right there. So now looking at this, if you were still in this sell trade, you already know, okay, I have my first take profit here as this zone. Now I have my second take profit at this zone right over here, because if we look here to the left hand side, this was a demand zone right over here because it was below our supply zone. We have our demand zone here because we had the multiple touches right here, and look at what price did. Price actually touched our previous right over here, touched our demand zone here, bounced off it, came back, went back up to our previous supply zone, came back down, rejected, went back up, consolidated, came back down, and price reigned here for a while looking at this demand zone here. Price then pulled back up, and now price eventually broke our demand zone. Now this market is still open right now. As of the time I'm doing this video, on the today is Thursday, I believe. This is 1:04 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now looking at this, we can see that now this pair is actually ranging. Why? Because price haven't broke demand zone yet. Because if we look at this here to the left hand side, we can see that we have another demand zone here. Now we just got to draw this from week to week, like I told you guys earlier. Now we can see that price is actually ranging right here, because we have the touches over here too. We have the touch, touch. Now what we just waiting for now, if you want to get in this trade, for example, you just got to wait for the breakout. Now price is still ranging in this zone, in this demand zone, so you just got to wait for price to break your demand zone. Then you can either get in after price closes below your zone, you can get in, or you just simply wait for the breakout, the retest, and then you get in after that. So guys, this is how you identify your your supply and demand zone, which can also become support and resistance. Is very simple. I try not to make this video too long, so I hope you guys understand everything that I just taught you guys in this video. So if you guys have any questions, or if you want access to my signals on Telegram, the link is going to be down below in the description. So if you find value in this video, all I ask is that you like this video, smash the subscribe button, and turn on the bell notification so you guys won't miss any of my future videos like this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.